Hey Deckers, the Fallout 4 next gen patch is finally upon us, and there is quite a lot of differences, although the performance isn't that much different overall, apart from some very funky frame time spikes and a lot more graphic explosions. Okay, let's go back a bit. Mods are now available to install directly from the home screen, and it has a whole bunch implemented from the offset, which is why some of the graphics and UI and stuff all look a little bit different, but you can now install the mods directly from the game. Now, I did have a few issues navigating the store. It just quits out or gives me a random search thing, so be warned for that, but installing mods will also disable your achievements, so be warned if you do go ahead and install those. Overall though, the settings are locked down as they were before, and there does seem to be something funky with the VSync, almost like they've forced frame generation to be enabled in the background or something, which is a bit annoying considering it does make that frame time a little bit all over the place. Now if we look at the previous version of Fallout 4, which you can see on the left hand side of your screen here, you can see just how much of the difference there was with the difference of the UI, some of the aiming effects, and obviously it's not as dark and grainy as it was before. For some reason they've upped the brightness by default, or the gamma, and you do get a bit more of a polished feel with some of the textures and other bits and pieces. So if we look at the older version here full screen, we have the nitty-gritty version, and we got different styling even on the targeting system, which we'll see here, and it did run at a solid stable 60 frames per second for the most part. You can see it's pretty flat on the frame time as well, which is completely lost unfortunately when we come over into the next gen version, but overall it did feel very smooth on the older version as well, so I'm not quite sure why they've changed this. But as we come over to the next gen version, like I said, you'll see that UI change drastically. You can see a lot more smoothing effects and some higher detail textures as well. And as we look at the turret especially, we can see a lot of those effects are just a little bit better. Now we definitely have a bit more gore when we're looking in the targeting system, and the blood splatter effects really have been dialed up somewhat as well. It is a lot nicer to play, but you do want to turn off the FPS counter window so that you don't see that frame time graph all over the place. Now the settings on the Steam Deck are locked down. You can't actually change them in game or even when you start it up, as they've disabled the launcher, which is how they got their verified status. However, you can use a command in the startup options, which I'll leave in the description and comment below. Shout out to Steam Deck HQ for giving us that once, for other games as well, which you can disable the Steam Deck connection, which does allow you to get into the settings, but there is no VSync. It does default to the ultra settings, and it also doesn't make a huge amount of difference dialing that down. So if you do want to put it on high, for example, then you will get a more stable 100 plus frames per second, but it won't make a huge difference to the game overall. But let us know in the comments below if you've been fiddling with your Fallout 4 INI files and if you've got this frame time a little bit more stable. Otherwise, let us know in the comments below what mods you've been running, if any at all, or if you're going to be diving back in specifically for this next gen update. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.